Good morning, everyone. Dr. Vicki here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Today is the 22nd of March. It's a Saturday, and the moon has just moved into Capricorn just an hour or so ago, I think. Yesterday we had the moon in Sag. Sag is the big picture moon, and Capricorn is now that we have the big picture, what's the best way to organize and utilize the resources that we have to create something that will stand the test of time, to create something that we can eventually rely upon. Now, last night, or maybe later in the day, maybe it wasn't at night, but there was a sextile between Venus and Pluto. It is a sextile that opens the lines of communication. Venus is our values, and Pluto is the transformational process. And so we can become aware of the processes, the information, the ideas that can help us to transform things based on our value system. Now, as I say those words, I can't help but think, last night I watched AOC and Bernie Sanders in, where were they? Greeley, Colorado. I guess right next door to where Bobart has her, where she does her thing, whatever that might be. I'm not really sure I want to know what Bobart's thing is. I think it's, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole Beetlejuice thing. By the way, you can see Beetlejuice in the sky at night as it twinkles around, but that's another story. All right, back to what I was thinking about, that aspect. And then today we have Venus and the Sun could make their conjunction. Venus is retrograde. It's called Venus in the heart of the Sun. Anytime a planet is retrograde, there is a need for introspection, reevaluation, renovation, perhaps. Venus now in Aries is around the love of self, or perhaps, and that can manifest itself in many ways. But certainly the love of self, it sounds a little narcissistic, but really it is the appreciation of the self, knowing that you matter, knowing that that you have value, knowing that we deserve more. And that's exactly what her and Bernie were talking about. We deserve more. So, and of course she's seen as a radical leftist, but really she's just for the workers, and for that, this is America, and we all have a stake, and we're all willing to work. Well, the working classes, right? And then the rich are stealing from us, as she said in the speech. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a listen. I know many of you are already Bernie and AOC fans, and everybody who's ever heard anything me say about these two folks, that I'm all in on that. I'm all in on that. I have been watching AOC since she won and kicked out that long time and powerful Democrat from her constituency. It's that kind of leadership that's going to take us into the future, right? The AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, the Jamie Raskins. There's a lot of really good folks on the side of the Democrats, I think. So the interesting thing about this Venus conjunct the sun is it's actually very close, within a degree of Alexandria's moon. She has a moon in Aries. As those of you who may have a moon in Aries knows, moon in Aries is always ready to fight for the right. Okay. She also has Pallas Athena conjunct her moon in Aries. It's pretty much it's the 4 degrees, I think. The conjunction is at 2. It's just 2, rounding up. It's very, very close. And Pallas Athena is government, and Aries is the new. And next year we're going to have Saturn and Neptune conjoin at the 1st degree of Aries, and then Saturn will be going over her moon and her Pallas Athena, and then Neptune, which is often the masses, go over that spot. So we definitely haven't heard the last of AOC. She does have right now the Mars square her sun, so I'm sure they realize what a gem she is and that they need to keep her safe. So I think later today is Michael's birthday. It's the big 6-0. I was giving him tips on what it felt like to be in the 60s, because I'm a bit older than him, so I've had about 3 years of practice being in the 60s, as it were. What I said to him is, when I turned 60, I felt the need to reach out and find my community. When I was in my 50s, I was much more independent. I also had my mother to deal with for all of my 50s, pretty much taking care of her and having her live with us. So I was always having to assert my freedom and yet take on the responsibility of my mother, which is kind of the energy of the 5. 5 is about freedom, but freedom based on responsibility. And so if you don't do the responsible things when you're in that 5 vibration, you don't have freedom. Once I did the responsible thing and I was released from that responsibility, then I felt free, perhaps for the first time in my life. But now he's in his 60s, and or when he wakes up this morning, I'll let him know he's now 60. Although he was climbing around. He had this project going on yesterday. Don't even ask. It'll look much better. We have to take this tree down. He has help with that, and he was setting up for taking the tree down. And I'm not sure he'll be able to get out of bed this morning. He won't jump out of bed. Let's put it that way. He might mope out of bed like I did, because I moved a file cabinet that was way too heavy for myself. But these are the lessons you learn as you get older. All right, back to the astrology. I want to do a special video for my members on AOC. I've done her many times because I love doing her, but in relationship to this Venus cycle, and perhaps a little look into the future for her. So if you're a member, you can keep your eyes peeled for that. I try to get new stuff out at least once a week for my members, and then eventually I share it with everybody, unless it's something that's a little bit too where I worry that I'll get they'll say, oh, she's talking about that and nobody's supposed to be talking about that, like the Luigi thing. So yeah, so that's so you can keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get going, maybe make a pot of coffee, and I hope you got to see us last night or join us for Mystic Sisters. Thank you for those of you who did on Ona's channel last night. We are going to be doing Mystic Sisters, I think, on Friday. Well, certainly this past Friday, yesterday, and then next Friday, I'm going to be doing. We're going to be doing Mystic Sisters on this channel, Victoria Skirbo. But for those of you who like to join us at Mystic Sisters, I think we might go to Friday evenings, unless we get a pushback and say no, please do Saturday. So let us know. We're flexible, as it were. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Much love to you all. Namaste.